In today's video, we're going to be showing you how you can take this oak veneered stringer and attach it to the side of your staircase, which is a great cost-effective solution when wanting to clad the external and internal side of your staircase. These oak veneered boards themselves have an A grade and a B grade side to the board. Now what that means is the A grade is more slick and prime oak, whereas the B grade is more prone to knots and imperfections, which can actually add a little bit of character to the stringer.
Another little detail about these stringers is that they're only 6mm thick, so when it comes to cutting, it's nice and easy.
As well as the stringer, we'll be showing you how you can attach the stringer cap. But as well as showing you this installation process, we've also got this. And this is an easy DIY template tool, and we're going to show you how you can make one of those in this video.
Now there are different variations when installing the stringers. Now you can have treads that come up and butt up against the stringers, but the first part of this video will be showing you how to install the stringers as if there was carpet. So here we have a piece of oak veneer that's 6mm thick, and we're going to push that piece of MDF up against that step, and using a multi-tool we're going to be creating a little insertion that allows the piece of MDF to slot into the side there. And it's important that we don't drill too far in, we're just going to hit just before we get to that riser there. It's very important not to get too far with our multi-tool. We don't want to damage the structural integrity of the staircase. And let's just make that little incision there. And after we've finished with our power tool, we're just going to go in with a simple hammer and chisel just to get the rest of that debris out. There we go, just see that little notch, that looks about right. But once again, it's very important to remember that you don't want to damage the structural integrity of the staircase, and we can't stress that enough when doing any DIY. Now in this section we're going to be showing you how we're going to make this DIY template tool that's going to help you measure and cut your stringers. For reference, it's going to look something like this. Now the materials we're going to use for this are our strips of MDF and our contact adhesive and our glue. And the spray adhesive itself will act as an activator for our glue, so we get a faster drying time. Now what Marcin is doing now, he's going to get strips of this MDF and he's going to run it up against that riser and across the top of the tread there. That's all that matters at this stage. We just want to get the length of that tread and the length up against that riser where the tread meets the step. Now this MDF that we're using here is only 2mm thick, so it's easy to cut with a standard blade, and to be honest it's easy just to snap off by hand too. Now we're not looking for perfection here, we just want to hit those key measurements along that tread and up against the riser, and then we should be able to formulate this template tool quite easy. Now Marcin has prepped all of our MDF pieces there. Now obviously the next stage, when we have all the measurements, is to glue them together, and we're just going to show you how to do that now. This is actually very simple, so you just add glue to one end of the MDF, and then you add our spray, which obviously acts as our activator, and then we fuse the two together and they should glue together fairly quickly. After all that gluing, our template is good to go. We've got a clear measurement of that internal line of where our stringer needs to be cut. If you can just see there, a nice internal line, and obviously that top line where our stringer cap will inevitably sit when the stringer's cut. Now it's time to get all of our markings so we can make our cuts to our stringer cladding. It's very important that we scribe and cut in the right places. You see at the top there, that's where the top of our stringer cap is going to sit flush. So we just want to be making sure that we're marking our template tool up correctly for the correct cuts. Now we have all of our measurements in place and it's time to cut. But depending on skill, it comes down to personal preference, what you want to use for your own DIY. But we're going to be using a jigsaw in this case. Very important in this, we are using a down cutting blade for this. Now this is designed not to leave any splinters behind on your oak, especially when this veneer is only 6mm thick. It should cut through with ease, leaving no splinter marks behind. On with the cutting. This should be very straightforward to cut out this jigsaw. There we go, that's our stringer cladding all cut and ready to be slotted in. And if you remember at the start of the video, we did say that this is designed for carpet, and that's why we use the method of the multi-tool to drill those little insertions at the side of the steps. So there was no need to remove the nosings along the front of the steps. We can put the stringer on the side and slot it down into those insertions, just like so. By making this template tool, the top of the stringer sits flush with the top there where our stringer cap will reside. To finish this renovation, we're going to be taking our stringer caps now. Now these have grooves in them that are 6.5 millimeters, and our stringer that we've created is 6 millimeters. So now we're going to get marching to lift up the stringer by 3 millimeters with any materials that you have to hand. We just need to go up 3 millimeters. So if we take a look at our stringer cap, we've got about a 2.5 millimeter gap there. So when we do put this on top of the stringer, we should have that nice flush connection. Now all staircases are different, so it is best to double check the measurements because every staircase is unique. You just need to boost that stringer up so it fits nicely with the stringer cap there. Once that's inserted, you will need to scribe it to meet your wall, and these stringer caps do come in various different sizes that can be found on our website, so you'll be easily able to find one that fits your staircase. Now we're going to move on to the next part of the stringer where Marcin, our joiner for the day, will be showing you how to make a joint. Now we've already created our template for the next part of the stringer. From that side, we're going to move on to the next point of the stringer. What's exciting about this is that we've got two different templates to show you where the joint happens. So we've got two pieces here of our template tool that we're going to show you where that joint connects, but we're going to take these templates over to these stringers and we're going to cut the two individual pieces out. Again, very important where we're scribing, so we're getting that mark point where the stringer cap will sit and that measurement across the tread and up against the riser. Now we have our two pieces of stringer here that have been cut out. It's very important here that you remember to create the joint at the most discreet part that you can on the staircase so the joint is less visible. So Martin's going to put our first piece in there. Now what Martin's going to have to do is cut off this joint at 45 degrees. We're going to cut that little edge off there. Now we're going to mark that bigger piece of stringer where that angle has specifically been cut. So a quick reminder to make our template, the shorter template, at the shortest point of contact. So that's where we can hide that join mark just a little bit better. And remember to have our little bits of material that can boost up our stringers by 2-3 millimeter to fit that cap well. So that's all finished, that's all flush, and just a reminder that this was a demonstration of how to install your stringers if you were to install carpet as well. However, we do have other solutions such as these modern treads that have the 40mm nose in that give you that little bit of overhang. But another plus about these treads is that they will slot up against the stringer, covering up those marks, those creases, those imperfections that you may not want.